Sciences. You might ask yourself, there are so many different types of education in the Netherlands that sometimes it can be a bit confusing as to what is what. So first, a bit about what a university college is. So we are University College Groningen, and a university college is always part of a larger university. So, for example, University College Groningen is a faculty of the University of Groningen. And the University of Groningen is a research university, which means that the bachelor's degree that we offer is a 3-year English taught bachelor's degree at a research university. Also, it's just one faculty and we offer one bachelor, but we're a bit different than the other bachelors in the Netherlands, as our bachelor offers many different disciplines. But I will tell you more about that in a little bit. Oh, and in the meantime, if you wouldn't mind muting your microphone, that would be fantastic. Thank you. So, one faculty, one bachelor, many disciplines. First, I'd like to tell you a bit more about some characteristics of our liberal arts and sciences program. So, as I said, it's an English taught bachelor's degree, but there are other characteristics as well. So one of the main characteristics is that the liberal arts and sciences degree is interdisciplinary and has a flexible curriculum. What does that mean? It means that we have numerous courses on offer in various domains, which I will show you at a later slide. And you can really design your own program in a way that you find interesting. So you can combine courses from many different disciplines into your own program. What's also a characteristic is that we offer small-scale education, which means that in our program, you are not a number. You are really known by the lecturers, by the staff members. It's a small community. We have a yearly intake of a maximum of 150 students. And our class sizes are also small. On average, it's about 17 students with a maximum of 25, which means that the classes are very small, which also facilitates more classroom discussions, more conversations with your lecturers, and the opportunity of being part of a smaller community. Also, our program is very internationally oriented. You can see that in numerous ways, but one of the biggest ones is the fact that students that study at our program come from a lot of different nationalities. Only a third max of our students come from the Netherlands, which is a very small percentage if you compare it to all the other students. So, sorry, I just did the muting of the microphones. All right, so very internationally oriented means we have a very big percentage of international students. We are also community oriented. That's another very important aspect of our program. So besides only studying, we also place attention on community building, and we do that via the housing that we have available for every student, but more on that later. So a bit more about the University of Groningen. Like I said, our faculty is part of a large research university called University of Groningen, and it's the second oldest university in the Netherlands. We were made in 1614, so we have over 400 years of academic traditions. Also, our research university has very high positions in multiple international rankings, and I just wrote a couple of them down on the slide. So studying at the liberal arts and sciences also means studying at an excellent research university in the Netherlands. Also, studying at University College Groningen means that you will live in Groningen. And Groningen is one of the youngest cities in the Netherlands. And that is due to a very large student body that lives in our city. So we're located all the way up north in the Netherlands. It's a bit more of a rural town, so it's a bit further away from what we call the Randstad, so Amsterdam, Rotterdam. It has a bit more of a rural vibe to it, but the very large portion of students makes the city very young and vibrant, with numerous cultural festivals, music festivals. There are so many things happening in Groningen, and it's very much student oriented, especially in the city center. It's also a very safe student town, and everything is very close to each other. On a bike, you can be everywhere in like max 15 minutes. And also that's reflected in the community of UCG, University College Groningen. It's also very international. Here you can see a picture of our first year students during intro camp. Um, it is just a very international community, and in Groningen, English is the main language that you will hear everywhere, as is the case within our own faculty. So a bit more about the program that we offer. Also a side note, this is of course the first session of Digital UCG of this week, but there are multiple sessions this week, and tomorrow there will be a session by our Academic Director of Education, who will dive much deeper into everything that I'm saying right now about what it is curriculum-wise that we have to offer. So if you want to know more about what I'm showing you right now on a deeper level, make sure to join our Digital UCG session tomorrow as well on education. So, like I said on the first slide, our program is interdisciplinary, and you can combine courses from different fields of study, like we call them. So on this side, you can see that the fields of study, which highlight our academic expertise, are visible on this slide. So it's divided into three main domains, or majors as we call them. And these are called the humanities, the sciences, and the social sciences. So in the humanities, for example, we have culture and literature and philosophy. And in the social sciences, we have other domains. You can see them on the slide. So these areas or fields of studies highlight the academic expertise that we offer at UCG. So within every area, field of study, there are numerous courses on offer that our students can choose from. And the nice thing is that with studying the liberal arts, you don't have to limit yourself to studying just one specific discipline. So our students, they can combine different courses from these areas to really design their own program in such a way that fits their needs and interests, or their plans for a future master's program. So you can see the liberal arts and sciences program as a very broad base, which also prepares students for a master's degree, but I'll tell you a bit more about that later on. So as you can see, the sciences, social science and humanities are the overarching disciplines that we have on offer. Students can choose to stick to fields within a specific major. However, our students can also choose a free major. And by choosing the free major, students have unlimited number of options when it comes to making their own program. You might think to yourself, okay, if you have unlimited options, how are you sufficiently prepared for anything after the bachelor's? Well, the answer is that we also have a dedicated guidance team that really help navigate all the choices that our students have. So in our guidance team, there are numerous academic advisors, and our students have a lot of appointments with their academic advisors to help make choices within all the courses that we have on offer. So for example, we have students who have a bit more of a narrow-minded focus when they enter. For example, we have students who are planning on studying medicine after our program, and they can choose, for example, the health and life sciences focus in the sciences area. And that prepares them, for example, for a master's in medicine. But we also have students who do not have a very clear mindset just yet, and they want to have a much broader base. These students often choose for a free major, where they can freely pick and choose courses that we have on offer. However, by the guidance team's help, we make sure that our students pick the courses that ultimately will lead them to a master's degree. Some of the most popular directions when it comes to master's degrees that our students pursue are, for example, psychology and business administration. However, it's of course not limited to these options, but our academic advisors have a lot of experience when it comes to navigating routes that students are interested in. So there is a lot of freedom, but also a lot of guidance. And also what's unique to the program is, in fact, this free major. We are the only university college in the Netherlands that offers this free major. So it offers students unlimited freedom. Also, students are very often interested in adding an international aspect to their program. With our program, they have numerous options to choose from. So, for example, students often choose to study abroad. We have numerous partner universities all over the globe. One of the most popular ones is where you see a picture of the small one is from Arizona State University in the United States. That's a very popular study destination for our students. But the bigger picture in the background is of Venice, and we have a double degree program with Venice, and that offers students the possibility to obtain 2 bachelor's degrees, one from us and one from the University of Venice, by pursuing 2 years here and 2 years over there. And that has a very nice international feature. Also, what's also unique to our program is in that most research-oriented bachelors, students do not have the opportunity to gain some practical work experience, but we have that actually incorporated in our program. So students can also choose to pursue an internship in the Netherlands or abroad and actually obtain credits by doing that as well. We really like to offer that option to students because you can develop so many different skills by doing that, and you can of course apply all the knowledge that you obtained in the years before in an actual work setting. And again, by choosing these options, we have guidance. We have a guidance team. For example, we have an exchange officer who helps with studying abroad. We have a careers advisor who helps with internships and also with what to do after your bachelor's. So we really guide our students in all of these processes. To give you a bit more idea of the breadth of our program, so what's possible within our own bachelor's degree, I want to give you some examples of some of the master's programs that our students are now pursuing. And you might wonder why I talk so much about master's degrees, because, you know, the liberal arts and sciences is a bachelor's degree. And that is because almost every single one of our graduates is pursuing a master's degree. And also very often students or parents of students have questions about what it is that you can actually do with a liberal arts and sciences degree. And that's why I talk so much about master as well, to give you really a more clear picture on the broadness of our program and how it actually prepares students for a future as well. So the master's programs that our students are enrolled at, these are just some examples. And you can see that the fact that so many graduates can pursue these options already gives you a good idea on how broad our program is and what students can choose from. So it ranges, for example, from medicine to journalism to sociology. This is a good representation on how students have the freedom to really construct their program in a unique way. I see that they're not really a question, just someone having a bit of trouble following. Very sorry. I don't know if that's me or I hope not. Is anyone else having trouble following me? Please let me know so I know what's happening. All right, I see that there's a hand raised as well. I have a question on medicine. Can I ask now or wait till the end of the session? No, please feel free to ask it now. I am unmuting you, or I'm trying to. It's not really working. Would you mind dropping your question in the chat box?
I think I can mute myself. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay. This is for my son. He's quite keen to do medicine. So But let's say if he chooses this course, can he straight away do the masters in medicine in Dutch language, or he has to do any bridge course, or yeah, any other thing which he has to, or give a national exam or something before he enters into masters?
Yeah, that's a good question. Um, Let me check if I heard you correctly. So you're asking about whether your son can go directly into the master in medicine and whether it's in Dutch. Um, that's correct, right? Yes. All right. So the answer is that our program prepares our students for the pre-master in medicine. So it's not a direct entry into medicine, but you have to start with the pre-master. Our program actually has a couple of reserved seats in the pre-master program at the University of Groningen. So if students follow the health and life sciences routes and follow the courses that we offer in that route, they are eligible to apply for one of the reserved seats that we have. So on average, we have around 2 seats available and maybe between 2 and 5 students interested in that particular area. So the chances of being eligible or getting one of those reserved seats is quite high, actually, just because it's a small part of our program. However, yes, it is in Dutch. So your son would need to follow Dutch courses, which are for free for international students at our university, actually. And then another question, can I study chemistry at UCG or is that not part of liberal arts and sciences? That's a good question. I'm afraid that within the sciences area, we do have a lot of sciences topics on offer, but chemistry is not one of them. So if you are set on chemistry, then you would really have to study at a different faculty, which would be the Faculty of Science and Engineering. There they offer chemistry courses. And then Gabriel, is it possible to only choose one minor or would I have to choose multiple? I think you're talking about the major. So it is possible to choose from different majors. I think that's what you mean, right? But you could also choose if you have a strong interest in the social sciences or a specific area within the social sciences, you can also have a bit more of a narrow scope. That really is optional. However, since you will be studying with a lot of students with different backgrounds, it is really for students who do have more than one specific interest, because you are in a small group where also project work is a big part of the teaching method that we have. So if you don't have really any other interests besides the very specific one in one of the majors, I'm afraid that the program might not be for you, because then it would be better to choose a very specific route and go for a very specific bachelor's degree straight away. And then is it possible to get in touch with a student ambassador who's currently doing the pre-med or pre-master to have that dedicated discussion? Yes, that is possible. Why don't you send me an email on this email address, and then I can get you in touch with someone who is actually doing that route or did that route in the past. All right, I will move on to the next slide. A bit more about the accommodation. So like I said, our students don't only study together, they also live together. Especially our international students are very happy with this option because it can be tricky if you're coming from abroad to find a room anywhere in the Netherlands, really. So we offer guaranteed accommodation for our students. It's not mandatory though, because we also have students who are more local and we don't want to force anyone to live anywhere. So it is guaranteed, but not mandatory. So we have several options available in our city, in the city center, of course. And the building you see on this picture is one of them. But we have multiple options and they all differ a bit in size, price, and setup. Some have their own kitchen, sorry, some have their own bathroom, others have rooms for a lower rent, I mean. So that's all something that I can discuss with students as soon as they apply, but there is a room available for everyone. And then a bit more about admissions to our program. So like you can see on the slide, We are a research university. That means that our students have to have, our Dutch students have to have a VWO diploma, VWO, which is the highest level of secondary education in the Netherlands. And other students from other countries, they have to obtain a similar diploma, so the highest level of secondary education in their specific country. So on the slide, you can see what that means for some of the most common diplomas. So for example, A levels in the UK, or the American high school diploma with an SAT score of at least 1300. So there are different equivalencies for the Dutch VWO. In addition to this, there is no GPA requirement anymore. So that means that there is no specific grade that you have to obtain in order to be eligible for our program. However, the only thing that is important is that our students are proficient in English. So like I said, it's an English taught bachelor's degree. And we want everybody to be able to participate in class discussions, presentations, have some sort of basic level of academic writing and communication. That's why English is important. And students can prove that by either submitting an English test or obtaining a certain grade in their high school. And of course, that differs per diploma. For the Dutch ones, that means a 7 or higher on English, but that translates in a different way to all the different certificates, of course. By the way, and this also means that there is no mathematics requirements, chemistry, or any of those. That means that we have one set of entry requirements for every student, and that is not related to the choices that students make. So for example, we have the same entry requirements for a student who's more into the humanities, and for students who are more into the sciences like the AI or the programming. There's no differentiation in that. So that means that even students who don't have a very strong background in mathematics can pursue, for example, robotic type of courses. But however, if students choose a more sciences-oriented route, we do check the level of mathematics that they have and offer more guidance and more tutoring, if that's necessary, to make sure that everybody has the minimum desired level that is needed for a course. And a question in the chat box, Cambridge is sufficient? Yes. A bit more about entry into our program. So our program is not a numerus fixus program, but we are selective. That means that besides looking at the academic background and the grade for English, we also look at motivation. So there are really two parts in this process. So first, students apply for a program via StudyLink, which is a website that every higher education platform in the Netherlands uses. So first we check your academic background to see if you are an equivalent to the VWO and if your English is sufficient. If that is a check, then you move on to part 2, which is selection, which takes place based on the motivation video. So every applicant needs to submit a video that will be reviewed by the Board of Admissions. And this board is made up of lecturers in our degree program, and they will review these videos for certain aspects. One of the most important ones is, of course, the academic interests that students have, and to see if that aligns with what it is that we have to offer. So we're looking for students who also did research into our program, who know what they are starting at. So we're looking for a match in that. To just give you an example, we get numerous applications videos where students have a plan to do something that is not in line with what we have to offer. For example, students who want to become, let's say, an architect or a pilot, then you have to choose a very different route instead of the liberal arts and sciences, because we are more of a broad base instead of a very narrow base. So there's also use for matching. Another very important aspect is that, like I said, we are community oriented. We have a very active international student body, and we're looking for students who would like to and want to contribute to this as well. So students who are also open-minded, who might want to start a committee, who might want to be involved in social things, academic activities, you name it. There are very different ways students can be involved, but we are looking for someone who have something to add in this small scale community. And then we're also looking for students who are, of course, able to present themselves well, someone who has a passion related to what it is that we have to offer. So we're really looking for a match between what it is that we are and what a student is interested in and what they have to offer. So after the selection process, students will hear whether they are admitted to the program or not. And students can already do this way before they graduate. So let's say if you are in your final year and you want to start in September 2025, you can already apply right now, and based on what you are enrolled at, we can give a conditional offer. So let's say you are still in high school in an IB diploma, for example, then we can already say you have a conditional offer based on one of the conditions being that you obtain your diploma before this entry starts, the start date of our liberal arts and sciences degree. So there's no need to wait. And like I said, we only have 150 spots available. So if you are anywhere certain or interested in our program, I would say apply as soon as possible, because 150 full is full. We will run a wait list afterwards, which doesn't mean that if you are placed on a wait list, there's no possibility of starting, but it's not a comfortable position to be in, of course. Also, a bit more about applying for a liberal arts and sciences program. As you might know, there are more university colleges in the Netherlands. There are 8 of them in total. All of them have this selection process. These processes are very different. Some ask for a written statement or an interview. We ask for a video. But you can apply up to 4 liberal arts and sciences programs in the Netherlands. And that's a good thing to keep in mind. So there are not an unlimited number of applications that you can put in the Netherlands. It's only 4. So what happens after you complete your application? Well, first, once you apply for a program via StudyLink, you will receive instructions on how to complete your program. And depending on the certificate that you obtain, there are 2 different routes. One for Dutch students who get a link to the application, the admissions proposal. That's a link that I share. International students go to Progress Portal and submit all the needed documents there. Again, I send a list with all the documents that students need to upload, but some of them are, for example, a proof of enrollment that state that you're actually enrolled at the program that you say that you're enrolled at. We need a resume. There's no set format for that. You can be creative, do whatever you want with that. We need some transcripts of the final 2 years, and of course, a motivation video. And if you already obtained your high school diploma, we would need a copy of that too. Can the Cambridge certificate be handed in later? Yes. So if you don't have it yet, then one of the conditions in your decision letter will be that you have to submit it before a certain date. For students who do not need a visa, that is 20 August. If you do need a visa, there are different deadlines. But if you don't need it, 20 August is the date by which you have to fulfill the conditions that are stated in your decision letter. So after you have a completed application, we have a rolling admissions process. That means that we give out the spots on a rolling basis. That means when suitable candidates apply, we give out the spots that we have available. So if you apply now, it can take up to 4 to 6 weeks, depending on how busy it is, but it's a rolling process and it continues throughout the entire year. So if you are meeting our entry requirements and if you can pass the selection procedure, you will receive a conditional offer. And like I said, conditions could be submitting an English test if you don't have it yet, or obtaining your secondary education diploma if you don't have it yet. But these are the 2 most common ones. You will also receive a confirmation of participation statement, which is a document that states that you intend to start with our program, and you reserve one of the 150 spots as soon as you send me your confirmation of participation statement. And that's like a yes, please give me one of the spots available. And that's how you reserve it. It's not a binding document, so if you change your mind, you can just let me know and I will give your spot to someone else. But it is some sort of final agreement between you and me, representing the faculty, saying, okay, I plan on studying here. And then, of course, there are numerous newsletters that I send out about all these things that you have to do to complete your enrollment to our program. We have days and online events for students who are part of our next cohort. But at the end, the most important thing that students then need to do is complete the enrollment steps and send the certified documents that are required. So usually, sometimes this can be done online, but sometimes students need to send me certified documents of diplomas to prove that they are meeting the entry requirements that we have for our university program. So just in short, and again, later on this week, my colleagues will dive in deeper into any of the topics that I just talked about as well, except for admissions. In short, why would you study at UCG as opposed to the broader university or any other university, to say that? So one of the key things that students value about our program is the freedom. Freedom to explore, especially in the first year when you don't have to choose any courses just yet. Freedom to combine courses that are aligned with their interests. Those types of freedom are very much valued by our students. Also, students really like being part of an international community. Like I said, only a third of our students are Dutch, and we have over 35 different nationalities in just a small cohort of 150 per year. So you can already imagine the richness in cultural backgrounds that comes with that. Also, I haven't mentioned that before, but my colleague tomorrow, who will talk a bit more about education, will mention this more. Besides obtaining disciplinary knowledge, students also work together in projects and in other settings where they really develop soft skills as well, like collaboration, presentation, communication. There are so many soft skills that are also being developed in our program that are also very valuable for employers in the future to really make a well-rounded student. Also, why would you choose our program? Well, our program, qualitative, it's very high. We're a top-rated program for years now, and also it's being taught at a very highly ranked university. So quality-wise, our program is an excellent one to choose. Also, the city of Groningen, a lot of people say that it's the best student city in the Netherlands. Of course, I'm very biased because I'm from here, but it really is the case that percentage-wise, we are one of the biggest university cities in the Netherlands. 25% are students, especially in the city center. You will see young people everywhere. The whole city is designed for this type of residents, which is excellent because there's always something happening. And also, students say that they feel always very well prepared for a master's degree, also because of the skill-based development, that they feel very free in, for example, giving presentations or doing other things that they really train in our program. And also the broad basis also gives them a very different background compared to other people that might be in a master's degree who come from a more straightforward monodisciplinary bachelor's degree, who don't have a broader base and a different way of looking at things that our students have. So it's a very, very well-rounded students that UCG creates, actually. So some things that are good to know. We have an early bird deadline, which is on 15 January. Our final application deadline is 1 May, but I would not wait for that long, but technically students can. And we have a new starting date, which is on 1 February, but the application deadline for international students for that one already passed. So for you international students, that's not very relevant anymore. 150 spots per year, and if you want to learn more, there are various ways that you can do so. For example, you can visit us as a student for a day, during which you're paired with an actual student and just spend the day. You can visit us during an open day. The next one is on Friday, 31 January. And then all the lectures, all the students are there, and you can meet everyone and learn more, offline. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much it, actually. So just come visit us in Groningen sometime. Um, a bit about, oh yeah, a question. What exactly is meant by the transcript we need to upload? So transcript basically means a list with grades and courses. So it's just your courses on one side and the grades that you obtained on the other. About tuition fee, is it also 5,000 for Dutch students? Yes. So I didn't mention the tuition fees actually, but that's a good question. So regular or monodisciplinary bachelor's degrees at our university are usually half of that, so around 2,500. However, at our college, you pay more, around 5,000, if you have a Dutch or EU nationality. The reason for that is, like I said, we already have a small scale education, an educational setting, which means that relatively we have many more academics on staff compared to other programs. So you get more, you have a closer connection to them. You get more guidance from them, guidance from our academic advisors. So the fact that there is just this other setting, this small scale setting, means that you also pay a bit more for our program, but you also get very much in return for this investment. How many applicants were there last year? So every year we have around 700 to 800 applicants. But I don't want to discourage you because, like I said, you can apply up to 4 programs in the Netherlands, or liberal arts and sciences programs. Many of them applied for multiple. It's very common because all of us are selective, so you never really know where you will get in, right? So it's always good to apply to multiple to make sure that you always have a backup option in case it doesn't work out. So around 700 to 800 applicants every year. So is the transcript the same as my final diploma? If your final diploma includes these grades, then yes. Does the tuition include accommodation? No, it doesn't, unfortunately. It's excluding accommodation costs. So accommodation, the building that I just showed you, effectively, it will cost you around 450 to 500 per year to have a room in this building. You do have your own bathroom if you live there, which is very nice. But there are also other accommodations that we offer. They can be cheaper depending on the size, how modern the building is. So there are different options that are available. But all of this will be shared with our students once they are, in our cohort, and I can lay out all the different options. Would I need to choose a major before I apply, or can I wait until I arrive? That's a very good question, Gabriel. So you don't need to choose a major before you apply. So when you start in September, the only thing you do is you choose a number of electives. And we have specifically designed a number of first year electives that have a very interdisciplinary focus so that you can already try out different academic disciplines, and that's what we call the exploring in the first semester. So you can already explore, get a taste of different disciplines before you make more specific choices regarding your major. So that is something that you choose once you are here, your major orientation. Accommodation costs around 450 to 500 per year or per month. That would be per month. Yes. So are there any other questions, or can you live with a friend in the accommodation place? Um, well, we have single rooms. So there's not room for 2 beds in one accommodation. So that's not an option. They're single rooms, right? But if you have a friend who also happens to study our program, then it's very likely that you can both study at the same building if you want to. So that's definitely optional. But yeah, if you have a friend from back home who's, for example, studying also in Groningen, it's likely that they will study at another accommodation, because we try to keep our accommodations only UCG accommodations, so only liberal arts and sciences students. So yeah. I don't. Hi, I'm so sorry that I left for a minute. So I don't think that there are any new questions. If there are, feel free to share it in the chat. Um, so just wanted to pay a bit of attention to the other. Um, ah, what are the approximate ages of the students studying in this program? So most of our students, they come straight out of high school. However, we also always have a number of students who take a gap year first, who go like traveling or do anything else. So approximately, I would say 18, 19, that's probably usually the age. We always have some students who, of course, are come via a different routes, but usually it's around 18, 19. So when's the next student for a day? So this next student for a day, it's actually on appointment. So once you fill in the form for student for a day, we will check with you when you are available to visit us, and then we will arrange it personally. So you can just say, a day or a week when you would like to visit us, and then we will check what is available and who you can be paired with. So it's on appointment. So it can pretty much happen anywhere, anytime, except for in the weekends, of course, because then there are no classes. So a bit more about the digital UCG calendar. So as you can see, there are other sessions. So I gave a very brief overview of what our program is about. Our academic director of education tomorrow will dive a bit deeper into like the methods, the possible combinations that students make. He will just dive more deeper into philosophy behind our program, so very more in depth. And also tomorrow, one of our lecturers will give a sample lecture so you can get a bit of an idea on what kind of topic might be included in your program. Also, of course, who knows best what it's like to study arts and sciences than our students. So on Wednesday, some people from the Student Association will give a presentation, and also one of our other international students. And on Thursday, I said already a bit about guidance, but we have numerous people who are academic advisors, career advisors, guidance for studying abroad, and they will tell you all about how that works within our program. So if any of this sparked an interest, which I hope it did, please join these other sessions to learn much more about our program. And then I see a question from Xavier. So engineering would be a totally different track, I suppose. Yes, engineering is a totally different track. So our sciences area within the liberal arts and sciences varies from AI, artificial intelligence, which includes like programming or robotics or more like topics related to AI, to health and life sciences and neurosciences. So anything that falls in those categories, courses that fall in those categories, we have on offer, but not like chemistry or engineering. That is something that we don't offer in our liberal arts and sciences program. So the broader University of Groningen as a whole has English taught bachelor's degrees, for example, in engineering and chemistry. But then that's the monodisciplinary routes that I also mentioned before. So we don't offer that. You're welcome. Um, I think that I answered hopefully all of your questions. I want to thank you all for participating. It's nice to see so many interested students here. Um, can we have the images in summary? Um, oh yeah, the in summary, yes. I think you mean this one. So thank you so much for attending. I will be here if anyone has any other final questions, and hopefully I'll see you maybe in Groningen or maybe during any of the other information sessions. It's very nice to see so many of you here today. Hannah, do you offer subjects going in the direction of sustainability? Um, Sustainability, I would have to check if we have any specific courses on sustainability. I do, for example, know that we have some with entrepreneurship and sustainability, but specifically sustainability is something that I would have to check. So if you want me to find out, please send me an email and I will check it in when I'm at work tomorrow. Then I can give you more of an example of sustainability. Thank you for your time. I send you an email. Yeah, for the student ambassador. Yes, definitely. I will check it out tomorrow. We have numerous students who are now studying medicine, and I'm sure that they would be more than happy to chat with you or your son to tell a bit more about what that's like. You're very welcome.